All right, this one's a little bit different in that it started out, I was working on a build request and ended up getting something different. So, I mean, they were pretty close to what I was going for, but just not quite there. And there will be a whole load of extra clips at the end of this showing some of those attempts because going for a team that has eggplant across the board or just a heavy push team in general can produce some kind of spectacular rounds, even if you end up not winning the final battle. So most games started the same way. We're just looking for iguana, seahorse in the first couple of turns. We got the iguana in this one. It doesn't matter too much if the seahorse comes later because we can just, all we really care about is its ability. And we are expecting that our final team is going to be very weak stats wise compared to most of our opponents. It really just depends which way you go. And I think this one was a run towards the end of the recording phase where I'd already tried a bunch of other tactics. And I think you'll see later on what I end up going for. For now, we're just looking for seahorse and iguana, and we also get the pill here, so I'm going to pill the spider, and it is clownfish. So we get the extra stats onto the iguana, and I'm going to bring in the capybara next turn because we're looking for some of the pets that were requested, one of which was donkey, and of course that works with the push pets. Not start a battle like seahorse, and I have maintained in the past that I think seahorse is better, but donkey can ruin a lot of teams quite badly. Usually you don't need other push pets though. This was hilarious. This person during the recording for these, you could see that this person was going for the full the stoat cells on turn 5. So in the early turns they were just taking stoat, and then eventually they would sell them all and just have a bunch of 1/1s. And some of the games I did end up facing them late on, and they'd already, they'd managed to survive all the way to the end. So this is a perfect opponent. We're just going to snipe everything with the iguana. Doesn't really make any difference about the flying fish. And I think a lot of games, what I was doing was giving the iguana pineapple for the majority of the time until the late game when we can potentially get wolverine. And then once we get the wolverine, we can replace the pineapple with eggplant. And then we get an extra push in there. And I think we're going to be all right here, yeah. Clownfish and capybara still strong. Now, I say still strong. The test server is live at the moment with a bunch of changes, and thankfully, clownfish and the other EXP pets, so blobfish and jellyfish, have been toned down. To be honest, I'm not sure the change to jellyfish is going to be enough of a nerf, but I think we'll just have to wait and see on the others. Certainly blobfish, I think you're going to be taking it regardless. If you haven't seen the test server changes, they moved it up one tier. And that will prevent super early level 2s for a lot of things, but you're still going to be taking it every time. So here I actually pass up the wolverine and we're going for the lioness. And a lot of the time, because I was getting to the very end and just finding that I was spending so much gold on eggplant and level ups, that I just couldn't afford the scaling, and there aren't any real slots in the roster available for scalers. I need equipment, so I can't go for husky. I can't take poodle because I have seahorse and iguana. Obviously T-Rex isn't going to work because we have hardly any pets that are tier 5 and above, because donkey is tier 4. And we get the panther. Now I'm putting the panther to the front. I think it's generally better to have the panther shuffle the front pet multiple times, because they tend to be the ones that have the equipment, that have the high stats, and whittling them down. The seahorse is going to be already pushing the pet at the very back. We do end up losing that one anyway. But the lioness is scaling the shop now, and so that means eventually when we look for donkey and wolverine, they'll actually be decent stat line compared to what you would normally see. So maybe not the greatest move to get rid of the capybara there. And do I sell the mantis shrimp here or not? I think at 2 hearts, maybe it would be a bit too greedy to try and bring in the other lioness. So we do take the eggplant on the mantis shrimp, even though I know I'm probably going to get rid of it. But that works out really nicely. We end up deleting half their team. But 4/4 every turn from the lioness just makes such a difference. And there we do get the wolverine. So after only 1 turn, I think I am going to sell the mantis shrimp and then bring in the wolverine and immediately give it... okay, maybe we're not going to do it yet. The difference with chicken and lioness now is that lioness scales everything. So even if you freeze something, it will get scaled. Whereas with chicken, if you freeze something, it will be locked at whatever it was when you originally froze it. So here we're going to shuffle a whole lot of stuff, and you can see what happens even with the melon there. The cobra ends up getting deleted. There are some limitations with this team as well, though. You know, I tend to put the iguana further to the front because I don't want it to get sniped, and therefore we don't get any shots off. But one of the issues with having it at the front is that in that kind of situation where the opposing team has some more summons after the iguana is gone, we don't get the triggers. Now here, this is very satisfying. The scorpion gets deleted and then the mushroom counts as a summon, so the iguana kills it off. Now we're on 9 wins, and there is another wolverine. So I'm all the way to turn 14. We don't have a donkey. I'm not sure if there's even one in the shop that I missed. But we're going to bring in the second wolverine with the final eggplant. And here, actually, I think, yeah, I was about to pass it up. But I'm now going to replace the pineapple. Maybe someone can do the calculations and tell me whether or not it's better to have pineapple. But I wanted the full team of eggplant. And we actually face someone who has a scaled level 2 hyena. Now, hyena was also on the request list because it shuffles the opposing team. Now, it doesn't count as a push. We end up losing there, but there were so many games where I tried to use hyena and it was just an absolute disaster because it kept getting, you know, it would move, like it could move the iguana to the front. It could, you know, undo some of the damage that the eggplants were doing. But here's an opponent that we're going to completely shuffle. Their biggest unit gets brought down to 1 HP by the sheer volume of snipes. And lionfish at the back with the tiger gone isn't going to be able to do enough damage. So there is a win with a full eggplant team. And now we'll move on to some of the other clips. So here's one with donkey. And we've got the wolverine. We've got the cat instead of panther. So this was one of the other strategies, obviously, you know, taking the cat to try and scale the team as quickly as possible while only using 1 slot on the team. And it's so funny when the donkey pulls stuff to the front. I rarely ever play donkey. I think very few people do. And so when you see it in battle, it almost feels like an ability you've never seen before. But we do find a second wolverine. I think here, because I'm on 1 heart, yeah, I'm just going to combine it. I chicken out instead of selling the cat. And then look at this team. This is just absolutely mouth-watering for the iguana. Although they do have Spinosaurus, and Spinosaurus can be a bit of a problem if it ends up focusing too many buffs onto certain pets. But here the cat is going to take the eagle down to low stats. We're going to shuffle the Spino to the front. And I mean, it's just beautiful. The last summon gets away with without being sniped by the iguana. But that was only with 2 eggplants. And you can see, you know, the number of pushes you can still get because of the donkey. Here's another one with a much lower statted team. And we're just really hoping for another summon opponent. And I think I mentioned this team in a video the other night. This is exactly the same opponent, exactly the same team. And the iguana is just going to go wild sniping everything. The bear gets sniped at the back and removes the 1-up on the eagle. And the seahorse is gonna, yeah, we don't even lose a single pet. It's so funny to see that when you think of the strength of summon teams these days, being able to completely wipe them at the start of battle like that. Normally you can see them respawning and just coming back to win against normal snipe teams, but not against the push team. And this was one where I actually accidentally deleted the recording, and so there you get to see the new replay feature, which is incredible. Allows you to reconstitute the shop phases, and although this team has the large leech peacock, we still end up comfortably winning. So I hope some of those were satisfying to the people who were requesting donkey gameplay. And now here's a clip showing hyena. So this was one of the routes I was taking, just going for the very generic start. You can see I get matched with someone doing the exact same build with the panther, wolverine, iguana, seahorse. And we win by sheer virtue of the scaling. But then we'll skip on to another battle where I have brought the hyena in. This is the same team again, I think. Or if it's not identical, it's very similar. They've got turkey instead of Spinosaurus. And because the iguana has higher attack, it does shoot first compared to the turkey. But unfortunately, at this point, I don't have the pineapple or the wolverine. And so they get, boar and German shepherd. Yeah, no hope there. That was just really to show that, it wasn't exactly an automatic win when I got matched with that person. But then here's another opposing team where we shuffle them with the hyena, level 2. However, the hyena just puts the guinea fowl and the crane back in the same order that they were before. So they still get the activation as you would expect. You're really looking for the hyena to disrupt the opposing team and not just push it slightly further back. So here's me getting matched with wombat. This is a very funny team with the multiple belugas and the peanuts. And then next up, here's another one with donkey and cat. And there I find the panther and the eggplant at the end. And it doesn't actually matter if the panther gets sniped, the ability still goes off. And we pull the crocodile to the front, and tiger peacock's not going to matter, so we end up winning. I can't remember exactly what happens in the rest of this particular run. I guess we're about to find out. I'm still looking for wolverine, I think that's what it is. Because the iguana just isn't doing enough damage. 5 damage from pineapple level 3 isn't going to be good enough. However, this team, it's all tier 5s and 6s with T-Rex, as you'd expect. And in the previous shop phase, I didn't point it out, but I passed up buying an apple, and I end up losing by 1 HP there. If I bought an apple onto the donkey, it would be a tie, and we would still have time to find the wolverine. But it wasn't to be. And then here's another opposing team that is pretty funny, where the lionfish is at the front and gets a bunch of hits, gets instant sniped. The blowfish gets brought to the front, fires back, and now the elephant's going to hit the hedgehog instead. It's pretty frustrating when you get moved by seahorse in a normal game, but when your entire build is just trying to shuffle the opposing team, it is so satisfying when it works out, because most of the time you're just facing a big scaling team and it makes no difference. A lot of things have garlic and they take no damage, especially when you don't have the wolverine. But here's another one where the entire team gets destroyed and we don't lose a single pet. And next up, this one I feel like is a bug. So watch the caterpillar, it gets hit so many times, but before the iguana snipes it, it turns into the butterfly. And I think we might have tied this if that didn't happen. I could be wrong, but that definitely feels like the ordering was wrong there, because the caterpillar should have been deleted, I think. again, the exact same team, the Skulking Tentacles. And again, it's the same result where we're just sniping everything that comes out. There's no room for the respawns. And the Eagle, level 3, they get Boar again. But because of the double push with the Donkey, we end up wiping the remaining pets. And here's another one, not the same person, but Vulture getting pulled to the front and instant deleted. It's just so funny. It never gets old. And even with one Wolverine, you can do enough damage most of the time to kill a lot of the summoned pets unless they have level 3 Stork. And then here's another opposing Hyena, which I thought was pretty funny. I can't remember the last time I've seen 2 hyenas within the space of a couple of days. But we pull the Dodo to the front and it's another win. That was a 4 squad as well with Hyena. I mean, I think you need every pet you can get to have a chance. Now here, everything's been moved, but Muskox was at the front of this team. And there'd been a discussion in Hap's Discord about dodgy matchmaking. And within the space of like 10 minutes, I faced 2 teams, one that had Muskox at the front and one that had Kangaroo at the front. However, I couldn't find the recording for the Kangaroo one, so pretty rare to see that anyway, but even rarer when you're about to shuffle the opposing team.